Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Tom Westerholm, sports producer at MassLive.com. I'm here with Jay King, Boston Celtics beat writer, and Jay, fresh off vacation. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Well rested.
Excellent. All right, so today we want to talk a little bit about the Boston Celtics offseason, everything that happens, and what kind of happened around the league. Uh, Recent article on ESPN talking about how the Celtics had the best offseason of any Eastern Conference team, and I think when you kind of go through the list and you look around, it's kind of hard to dispute that. Jay, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, well, my initial thoughts were, yeah, the Celtics definitely had a good offseason. And then that just the rest of the East was just a weird place. It was like the Bulls went out and got Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo and like made this team that would have been awesome 5 years ago. And the Knicks went out and got Derrick Rose, like
The
just
super team Knicks.
and Joe, yeah, and Joe Kim Noah. It's just like a bizarre. It could be a bizarre conference. Even the Pacers, who I think they made some pretty good moves, but like they're all weird moves. Like Al Jefferson, Thaddeus Young, Jeff Teague, like just a random collection of pretty good players. So yeah, I do think the Celtics had the best offseason in the East. That they signed Al Horford, the number two free agent, out there. But there was a lot of weird things going on in the East this summer.
Yeah, I think one of the weirdest ones was the Hawks, right? Because they lost Al Horford, but it almost seemed like maybe they didn't have to lose him because they went out and signed Dwight Howard, which is an interesting pickup, and I think Dwight Howard is a little bit underrated at this point just because people dislike him so much. But you lost Al Horford, like you lost the better player in that deal, and obviously you lost Jeff Teague, and obviously they have a high opinion of Dennis Schroeder, but I mean that's just it's a very strange offseason, especially to lose players like Teague and Horford and then make a win now move like picking up Dwight Howard. It's just confusing. I think to me the Indiana Pacers might have had one of the better off seasons that wasn't the Celtics in the East, but I mean when you look at who the Celtics brought in and kind of how well they're set up for the future, it's pretty one sided, I think, in that way. Um, just kind of looking at the Celtics offseason moves. Obviously, Al Horford was kind of was the big one. Was there another move that kind of stood out to you as being better than the others? Was there kind of a second best move to the Al Horford move?
I don't know if it's the second best yet, but one with a huge amount of variability is the Jaylen Brown pick. And obviously, we won't know for years just how good that was, but he's a guy with all star potential. And I don't know if he'll ever get there. I don't know if he'll even come close. And so I think that pick will ultimately decide how good this offseason was. You know, if they got Horford, an all star, and then they picked up Jaylen Brown and he becomes a stud down the road, we'll look back on this offseason and think of it as maybe, the offseason that transformed the Celtics, and we didn't even know it at the time. So a lot depends on how good Brown becomes, and that's putting a lot on his shoulders. And obviously, Marcus Smart too could possibly take a leap. They're hoping Terry Rozier will get better, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, the other moves were all pretty low key, I thought. But Jaylen Brown has a chance, and I don't know how big that chance is. I don't know whether he will actually get there, but he has a chance to become a star, and that could be a big deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things that I liked about some of those low key moves was that they set themselves up for the future and they also kind of set themselves up for right now. So what they're basically doing is kind of running it back, except this time they have Jaylen Brown and Al Horford. And that's a good position to be in when you won 48 games last season and your biggest hole was, a big man, a talented big man like Al Horford. So I thought, some of those low key moves, just, keeping things together, keeping things going a little bit while also improving the team. That was a really positive move for them. Um, when you look at the Brooklyn Nets, that's the other thing that really went well, for the Celtics this offseason. And it's not that the Nets made bad moves; they just couldn't improve. I mean, how good is that draft pick looking right now?
Beautiful. It is looking beautiful. While we're on the East too, the Magic made some weird moves too. They have like
Yeah,
12 centers over there. I don't know what's going on over there. The East is going to be a weird place. I have no clue other than that Cleveland, Toronto, and Boston are all going to be really good. I don't know what the other teams will do. Like Indiana could be pretty good. Atlanta could be pretty good. Detroit could be pretty good, but I don't know where any of those teams will finish, and I really have no clue where to predict those guys.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you don't want to say, oh, the Celtics picked up Al Horford, they're definitely going to be the second or the third seed. But when you look around, there just doesn't like the rest of the East is too weird to predict, whereas the Celtics just look like a very good team.
Yeah, I would bet. I mean, if I were a betting man, I'd put money that the Celtics will be either the 2 or 3 seed entering the playoffs.